Good morning, everybody. This is Adrian on another beautiful, calm, sunny morning here in the United Kingdom. And today's date is Friday, the 22nd of August. So I thought I'd just do a quick update on a few of the avocados that I've got growing. This may well be the last update of the year because I don't know if there'll be much more growth. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So the first one that I'm going to feature, which is in the shot here, this is the Mexico Grande graft that I performed at the beginning of the year. So you can see the graft union is there, and all of this growth, so three branches, all of this growth is this year's growth. The plant itself, if I sort of step back a little bit, it's about, I don't know, maybe 4 foot tall, I guess, something like that. And it's doing extremely well. I'm very, very happy with this. I'm still putting out lots of new growth, but we're coming towards the end of August now, so I suspect this will start slowing down in the next 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. Maybe another month, but then it will start to slow down a little bit. Behind it, I'm just going to have to sort of step up a little bit because it's quite tall. Behind it is, hang on a second, excuse the terrible camera work here, but oh goodness me, is this tree here. I can't get it all in frame as it's so big. You can see completely different leaf types. This has really none of that redness in the new leaves that you see with the sort of the Hass types, the Mexican, I think they are, types. This is the tree that's never been inside. It's pretty much grown in the same pot its whole life, which is down here. You have to excuse me, it's kind of got a bit overgrown. Fairly decent sized pot. It could probably do with repotting, to be honest, but I'm not going to do it this year. This tree is, I would say, 10 foot tall, and doing really, really nicely. But this tree I grew from a seed in 2019, and I've tried to graft onto it, and so far I've never had a successful graft on it once. So this is a terrible host tree, which is a bit of a shame. So I'm just going to let this one grow out now as a seedling, and let it kind of take its chances, really. I'm really tempted to put this one in ground. Probably not gonna do it this winter, but I think next spring I may put this one in ground, as it's lived outside its whole life, and you know, the trunk is fully lignified, certainly at the base. So I think this one might stand a chance of living outside. Right, I'm going to pause the camera slightly. Actually, I'll just pan back a little bit so you can get a kind of an idea of the two trees in the same shot. Right, I'll stop the camera and move over to another one. So this is one of my in-ground avocados, failed graft, story of my life. Anyway, this tree is completely unprotected. I mean, it's in a fairly sheltered spot in the garden, but it's not brilliant. It hasn't got any sort of fences nearby or anything that provides any particular shelter. And this tree fully defoliates every winter, and every winter it gets pretty severe dieback, but it comes back every year, and this year's no different. So all of the growth, every single leaf you can see on here, is new growth this year. It's a huge piece of growth down here. I mean, that's probably getting on for 18 inches long, 450 millimeters, something like that. Really strong smell of aniseed on this tree, really strong. It's just a Hass type, I think. This won't get protected again this winter. It'll take its chances. Hopefully we won't have too much of a severe winter, and then next year it'll come back even bigger and stronger. You can see down here the main trunk has pretty much fully lignified. I think that's probably a response to the harsh environment that it finds itself living in during the winter. Right, let's pause it here, we go to the next one. Okay, so this tree is the same age as the previous one that I just showed you, and has been living outside for the same amount of time, and is also unprotected, but as you can see it's in a much more sheltered location, and as a result this one is doing amazing. This one, it'll only be the very, very soft tips, you know, this kind of material here, that will, or at least historically, has died back in the winter. But all of these more sort of mature type leaves down here, they seem to get through winter with no trouble at all. So to give a sort of a bit of an indication, there's a small graft down here which hasn't died yet, astonishingly, but from this point here where my hand is, all the way up to here is this year's growth, which is a lot. I was hoping that this tree would equal the height of the base of the roof of the greenhouse this year, so that any sun that's coming over the greenhouse will directly hit the top leaves, and it has achieved that. So these leaves now here, when the sun comes around a little bit further, these are in direct sunlight, which will give the plant even more energy. So this graft here, by the way, this is a tiny little piece from the branch that snapped off of my seedling that was producing fruit. It hasn't done anything yet, it hasn't died, and it hasn't sprouted, it hasn't done anything. So anyway, we'll wait and see what happens with that. I'll sort of pan back. So I'd say the height of this tree is probably 5 feet or so now, something like that. Now in this same sheltered area, if I just walk back a little bit, I've got my bacon avocado. This really hasn't been doing much since let's see if I go around this way. This really hasn't been doing very much at all since I bought it. It's neither died nor grown, it just hasn't done anything really. So anyway, I've decided that I'm going to give it its chances outside. Now I will protect this one this year with some stakes and a frost cloth, because it's its first year outside, and I did pay a little bit of money for this one, so I'm slightly more invested in it. But hopefully next year, you know, this trunk, which is, you know, reasonable size, this trunk will lignify, and it will start to sort of adapt to its new location. These leaves, which are very yellow, will start to colour up, and the plant will start to develop a good root system and start to be able to take advantage of the fact that it's growing in ground. So yeah, we'll see how that goes for the remainder of the year, and then, as I say, we will definitely be protecting this one over winter. Right, I'm going to move on to just one more tree now, and then that'll be that for my avocado update this time round. So we're in the greenhouse now, and I just thought I would show you the grafts that I done earlier on this year and how well they're doing. So in here, just about where it's very hard to see, but in here I grafted a piece of Mexicola Grande. So this is the same material as the tree that's outside, and that has grown huge right the way up here to my hand. In fact, I've actually pinched the top of this out, and now it's growing two more side shoots here and here, which again I'm probably going to pinch the tops out soon to try and make it a bit bushier. But that is doing brilliantly, and if I come round the other side of it, it has another branch here. No, not here, sorry, here. Oh yeah, sorry, here. Yeah, another branch here. Yeah, that's correct. So very, very pleased with that. And then around this side again of the tree, behind the Mexicola Grande, is this graft here. This is a Joey. Again, it's doing really, really nicely. Not as well as the Mexicola Grande, but it did take a lot longer to get going. And this is the material that came from America, and it had a pretty arduous journey here. But it's taken well and it's going well now. It's fairly well sheltered by this material all above it at the moment, and it doesn't get any direct sunlight. And I'm going to leave it that way for the remainder of this year, just so that it doesn't get too stressed. But next year I shall probably prune some of this material above it, just so that it is getting a little bit more light. And to that end, Peter shared a video of an air layering technique, which appeared to have a success rate in the high 60%. So, as I say, this material up, sort of right up here, is probably going to need pruning back next year anyway. So, so I've done an air layer on this, sort of give you an idea of the sort of branch. So here you can see the as a result of the air layer, some of the end leaves have gone a bit curly in the sunshine. I'm guessing as a result of the air layer, the plant isn't able to get quite so much moisture to the ends, but that's fine. If you look at the sort of new growth that's inside the plant, it's all doing absolutely fine. It doesn't seem to be affected at all. So yeah, so we'll leave this air layer on until spring. It's sort of the wrong time of the year really to have done it. I probably should have done it in spring, but I was impatient. So we'll leave this on till spring, and then if there are some roots on that, then we can at least, when we prune this piece of the tree off, get ourselves another decent tree out of it. This whole section of tree here has got another air layer down here. The primary purpose of this air layer actually isn't necessarily for it to root, although it might do. The primary purpose of this air layer here is actually to ring this quite substantial branch, to see if that will then induce flowers and fruiting from the tree above it. So we'll see whether or not that is the case. We won't know until at least realistically December or so, when the new flowers start to develop, possibly not even until January. But what is encouraging is if I look, if this will focus, there's lots and lots of really different types of growth already on the ends of these branches. Very, very different to the branches from the part of the plant that hasn't been ringed. So I am quite encouraged by that, because I think that's what I saw on the branch that was ringed last year that then developed fruits. So anyway, we'll see. Let me pan right back so you can get an idea of the scale of this tree. My greenhouse is 10 foot tall, and it's right up to the top, and it's more than halfway over now. So yeah, pretty impressive tree. It would be amazing if this fruits again next year, and it would be amazing if it fruits. Well, if it does fruit next year on this ringed part, I shall definitely be thinning the fruits out, so there's not so much weight on it, so it doesn't snap itself off. While I'm in the greenhouse, I'll just show you this. This is my reed avocado that's in ground here in the greenhouse. This really is struggling. You can see the leaves are quite yellow. This completely defoliated at the beginning of summer. Really looked unhealthy. It has bounced back to some degree, but it still doesn't look right. The leaves still don't look great. It's really not thriving like some of my other avocados. So I don't know what to do about this really. I did cut a little piece off and try to graft it onto something else, but unfortunately that graft didn't take. And there's not a lot of material left on it to take off to try and graft. So I'm in a quandary over this. It doesn't like it. It doesn't like where it is. But if I move it, I'm worried I might just kill it off completely. So I think for now it's a case of just leaving it and see what happens. But I mean, if you compare it to, you know, some of these avocados that are sitting around it that are in pots, you know, that were grown from seeds just this year to create new, new material for grafting onto, and then look at this, which has been here for a few years. By comparison, it's doing terribly. But anyway, it's not dead, I suppose, so that's the main thing. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Slightly longer video than I was anticipating. As I said, is maybe the last one for the year, unless there's been a particular development that's worth showing at the end of the year. Or I may show maybe during the winter months or just before the winter months start, the protection that I put around the trees, or certainly around the bacon avocado anyway. I might just do a feature on that. But anyway, that's enough for now. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.